I'm great, thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. I was checking my laptop because those updates that always requires, and I want to stop the update because it seems that it will last a lot of time. But then I restarted, and well, now I'm here.
I know. Yeah, it takes forever, and they don't ask you. Bill Gates just says it's time to do it, and he does it in the whole galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. How are you, teacher?
Fine, thanks very much. A bit concerned. I was very happy this morning, and then I went to open the door to the lady that helps my mom, and I picked up the newspaper, and the first thing that I see in the front page, the assassination of the guard of the escorts of the Celaya Major. So they don't stop, do they?
I don't know that news. Well,
Yeah.
the only thing that I saw here in the Apoto, was that someone killed. I think that mm, it wasn't a police, but it was like the people who was checking outside of Liverpool. Did you see that? That
No, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed that someone wanna assault Liverpool, and there are so many stories about it, but the most popular is that the person that wanna assault Liverpool didn't have a gun, and he was talking with the official ward that was there outside of Liverpool, but like a normal chat, and suddenly he took the gun of the ward and he go into Liverpool, and they say that he started shooting up with the gun up, so not attacking someone specifically. But at the end, I think that he couldn't assault the person that he want to assault because that near from that is BBVA and all those banks,
Right.
and it's supposed that he started running to what's the name of this mall? Where is that located?
Yeah, is the Plaza de las Palmas, Plaza Palmas,
Plaza
I
de las
think.
Palmas. Yeah, he started running with the gun to. I think that probably he felt anxious or I don't know what happened. And well, the officers make the call that someone has a gun inside of Plaza Cibeles. And well, the official words were trying to catch him, but then the assaultant just turned left, well, turned back and shoot to one official worth and killed the person.
He
And
killed
then
him.
yeah, killed him. Yeah, unfortunately, was in the parking of Las Cibeles. This was the last week. I think the last Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, yeah, and they stopped him near from Plaza Palmas. He was trying to get a car to rob a car, but then the same official wars of that plaza of that mall, and the ones that were trying to catch him stopped the person. And at the end, the police came. But yeah, it was a very popular news here in Irapuato, and it was sad because the same day they announced the people, the artists that they're gonna bring to the fair. So you can see what are the really mm, how can I say this, like the main projects or what really cares about what really the government cares about. So yeah, it is awful.
Yeah, I consider this from many aspects. One of them is the technical aspect. Not long ago, I was watching a documentary about the extraction of Adolf Eichmann. It's a very, very interesting documentary. It's very old, of course, but it is interesting to me because it tells you about how professional people can be, even with when referring to police matters. Like, for example, in this case, Adolf Eichmann. I don't know if you know who he was.
The person that you mentioned?
Yeah, Adolf Eichmann.
No, no, I don't know.
He was one of the main organizers of the mass executions with the Jewish in the Second World War, the gas
Mm,
chambers
okay.
and the transportation to bring the Jewish people to the prisons of the gas chambers. So he was in charge of that. That's very, very awful. But the what is funny is when the Allies and when the Russians invaded Berlin in Germany to recover Germany to the freedom, to bring Germany back to freedom,
Mhm.
he managed to escape. And now this is a controversy, which I don't fully believe, but this documentary pointed to the Vatican. I said, no, that cannot be, right? Because obviously this was created by the Saxon people who are Protestants. But well, that's beyond the scope of today's chat. The thing is that this man escaped to Argentina. So he was a war criminal. He was a Nazi war criminal
Yeah.
that remained there for 10, 15 years. And apparently, his neighbors started to play with his sons, right? The kids started to play and they had the name Eichmann too. The father changed his name to with a pseudonym, but the kids kept the surname, the family name. So
Mhm.
eventually they found out because they started to interact and play together. And then, what's your dad's name? Well, my dad's name is Adolf. Adolf Eichmann. Okay. And so somehow the name leaked to the parents of these kids. And so they called the ambassador in Germany, and then it took like, don't think that that happened overnight. It took like 2, 3 more years for the uh, ambassador in Germany to Israel to convince the people that this person was really Adolf Eichmann, and like, the second or third to Hitler. Well,
Mhm. Wow.
to make the long story short, they decided to launch a mission to capture him, extract him from Argentina, take him to Israel, put him in a trial, and make a verdict. That
Mhm.
took a long time, but the execution was so carefully planned, so precise, like a surgery. Imagine that you are in a brain surgery. It was
Yeah.
just precise. So there is this good fame that this Mossad has as being one of the best secret service agencies, that they went to Argentina, extracted this person. I mean, the story is fantastic. Could be true, could be not,
Yeah.
but the story is fabulous in the strategy they carry out, Mickey. So,
Yeah. What's the name of the documentary to try to
okay,
search it?
extracting Eichmann. I'm gonna put it here.
Extract. Okay.
Extracting Eichmann.
Icon.
Eichmann spelled with Eichmann. And you see this in YouTube. It's a video that lasts 50 minutes, 40, 50 minutes. Let me see if I have the link. Extracting Eichmann. Uh, there is okay. This is operation. Oh, well, that is an audio, but I'm gonna send you the video.
Thank you. Adolf Eichmann.
It's here. I just sent you. Of Eichmann. Yeah, there are lots of stories, lots of videos that you can watch, and the one that I watched, let me send it to you. Catching the supposedly is the main responsible person for the Holocaust, supposedly. But the operation to rescue him is one of the most daring and precise, like a surgery, by the Israeli Secret Service, the
Mhm.
Mossad. So why do I mention this? Because these people are very well prepared, are professionals, they are very efficient and proficient and do their job very well. And unfortunately, it looks like our Mexican police is just the opposite. They are so inept.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because, well, for example, the case that I mentioned, you can see the video on Facebook, and at the moment that they capture this person, and you're gonna see two people that are not part of the police, really are the people who really capture this guy, and
Are they
at the end,
civilians?
yeah, civilians, and at the end, the police came and yeah, but you can see in this short video, this video doesn't last more than 1 minute and a half, that the police is not prepared because they seems with fear when the police are like, um, how to say, like aiming, or how can I mention?
Aiming at the criminal.
Yeah, they feel like with fear, you know. So, and I imagine that the person, or well, yeah, the person who works in that must be prepared for that type of situation and worse. But no, it seems that they don't have the, yeah, the preparation to this type of situation, and it is a mess because, well, we live in Mexico, so those situations are so popular here.
Yeah, well, what I think is that they bring in amateurs and they don't train them correctly or accurately or efficiently. They don't give them the basics. There are many situations which can be ethically concerning. For example, when do you shoot at a person when you don't shoot at a person, right? So, which do you think are ethical situations you have to? I mean, the best thing is that you respond automatically, right? That you are trained. In this case, you do this. In this case, you do this, and in that case, you do that automatically, like a
Yeah,
reflex.
yeah.
But there will be situations which you need to discern with your own criteria. Which situations do you think require a police to judge with his own criteria, Mickey?
Well, I imagine that in situations where people is in danger, when you see
Right,
someone that has a gun and probably it's a public space, I think that we need to react, and we know that not always it is possible to analyze the situation, and people who works in that must be prepared for that type of situation. So yeah, I think that when people is in danger is when they need to react and try to react correctly.
right, exactly, exactly. Remember that you once saw, or a couple of times, you saw a video about negotiation with
Mm-hmm.
Chris Voss.
Chris Boss, yeah,
Remember that he was an expert at de-escalating situations which were tense.
yeah, yeah.
That's a mastery that not many people have. But if people manage to acquire situations to de-escalate a potentially harmful situation, I think that is a great trait in which you see this is a tense situation. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Wait a minute, calm down. Let's negotiate, etc. What do you think about that, Mickey?
Yeah, yeah, I remember of Chris Boss, and actually I read his book. Um, yeah, will be the probably the best way to solve a situation like that. But I don't know if our police is not prepared in this physical situation. Imagine negotiating with a criminal, and not only an assaultant. Really um, big criminals. Um, I imagine that yeah, there must be people prepared for that, but in this situation that passed the last week, I don't know, makes me think a lot of things, and yeah, I feel worried about it because the situation is. I think that is worse and worst. I don't think that it's
Yeah,
improving. Doesn't matter of the new governor. Doesn't matter about the new, how do you say it? Fiscal in English?
the new fiscal judge.
Fiscal judge. Yeah, I think that is it is the same. It doesn't matter. And I think that of course not only fault of the police. It is not only fault of the government. is fault of the same education, because then there's another story that the mom of this guy, of the person that was assaulting, that killed the official ward, his mom was crying outside of the jail that he just steal, but he doesn't kill, and it's like, oh my god, there's videos of this person shooting the official ward. How you are defending your son just because he's your son? So, in a way, if the same people defends this type of people, it is gonna be so difficult to change and to solve this problem.
If you had to say that there are two types of solutions, which is a long-term solution, which is very important, even if it takes a long time to fix, and a short-term solution, what would you suggest to the, let's say that they hire you, they tell you, Mickey, we want a consultant to give us the long-term solution and short-term solutions. What would you suggest them to do?
I think that it's important to include kids and young people to different groups, because I think that normally people, yeah, goes in drugs or take different have contact with guns because they are not part of a group, they're not doing exercise, they're not studying. So in a way, I will try to include them to different, uh, yeah, probably to a different sports groups or groups of how to say, like, conscient, how to say conscientization in English?
Consciousness.
Yeah, or groups
con-
of consciousness of the situation that we're living. Uh, I think that there are so many things that we need to change. I remember the last time that I went to Vallarta, and I went to a restaurant and I met the people there. There were kids working, but it looks like good kids, like it's a familiar business. Obviously, I'm gonna support to my family. They were like chopping the fishes, in general doing things of not literally in the cuisine, but that are part of that. And one of them just have a little bag here, and this person probably 8, 9 years old. In all the days that I went to this restaurant, I never saw him working, and then I realized that he was selling drugs in his little bag. You know,
9 years old.
9 years old. Yeah. Well, in Puerto Vallarta, it is controlled because in a way, Cartel Jalisco manage all. They say like all the plaza,
Really?
but yeah, 8, 9 years old, and something that I realized is that all of them were listening to these narco corridos. So in a way, they are like. Mm,
Making a romance out of that situation, right?
of that situation. Yeah, and people that don't have the criteria to understand that probably it is not real or the reality is not like that, do these type of things. And yeah, this guy of 8, 9 years old was selling drugs, and you see him, and probably he acts like someone of 20 years old, but he just have 8, 9 years old.
That's awful.
So,
What terrible news. Yeah. Do you go to Guadalajara quite often, Mickey? Oh,
well,
with
yeah, I went like 1 month ago. Probably I will go in 3 weeks. I don't know.
yeah. I'd like to suggest to you to do something if possible. You have time. If you're driving, when you come back close to Tepa, if you are able to go inside Tepatitlan,
Sure.
even for dinner, for lunch, it is worth it. It is worth it. The people are so educated, so nice, so polite. You're gonna find like at home. You're gonna feel so happy in this little town. People are extremely educated. Everyone, of course, you get inside, and the police will get behind you immediately, right? Um, I was there with my friend. We came into the town. Let's for dinner. I said, well, let's get inside because I haven't visited Tepa in a long time. And we got inside. Right after we got inside, a police car got behind us. It was a truck. So we started driving in circles around the kiosk, and the police was behind us. I said, well, they're following us or what? And then I stopped to ask for a direction. And somebody said, yeah, there is a parking lot over there. And then the police left us, right? We got into the parking lot, and the parking lot manager told us, hey, hello, where are you from? Oh, great. Where are you going? Where are you coming from? Like if it was a police. What I mean to by that is that everyone finds out where you come from, where you're going to, what you're doing from minute one.
Mm,
And you see that the town is so pacific, so organized, so clean. People are so polite. You better stop in the street to the corner to let people pass, pedestrians. It's a fabulous town to visit. I had visited, but since long time ago. But if you have opportunity, Mickey, please visit it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna like it so much. You will
Tepatitlán. Yeah.
probably
Okay.
Tepa, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Tepatitlan. I guarantee you're gonna like it.
Thank you, teacher. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. No, actually, I have never visited Tepatitlan. I have heard about Tepatitlan, but no, I don't know actually what are like the main attractions there, or if it's a little town and the
It's a
kiosco and
small town.
mhm.
Yeah, it's a small town with good food. That's it.
Good food. Oh, that's the most important.
Yeah, but people are very educated, very polite, very friendly. It seems to me and to people. We asked the restaurant manager, "Hey, why is this so pacific?" And the restaurant owner said, "Well, the mayor doesn't want trouble in the town, so everyone is marching on the right."
That's
Almost
great.
like you were chatting with Bukele or someone like that.
Really? Wow. That,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. Um, what is the party who is governing Tepatlan?
Honestly, I don't know. Let me find out. Which party is ruling Tepatitlan, Jalisco? I don't know, but whoever is doing it, uh, president is who is this? Let me. I think it's PAN.
Miguel Ángel Esquivias is the name of the president.
Okay,
Mm,
he's doing a great job. Let me tell you, he's doing a great job. I guarantee.
I think that
And we got
is,
there just by accident. Is it PAN or which part is it?
yeah, I think that is Pan.
All right.
Yeah, Pan. Miguel
Well,
Ángel.
it's a great example. I didn't know, but we just got in by accident. But it looks like he's doing a great job. The town is in peace, no problems. You can tell from the face of the pedestrians. Uh, there was an old lady who didn't dare to cross the street, and we, as usual, we made a stop, a full stop. And another lady in the sidewalk was pushing her. Yeah, walk across, cross the street. The cars will stop. She said that, and she was right. We stopped. Right? So
Wow,
they look for the pedestrian above the drivers. I really like the town, Mickey.
that's right. Yeah, I would like to visit it now that you mentioned this. It seems interesting. I think that it is important to find
Yeah.
these type of places because in occasions there are so many bad news of everything, but when you found someone or some places that are quiet and relaxed, I think that we need to take advantage.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Regarding solutions, for example, to the event that happened in Irapuato, the shooting and assassination of the guard, the head of guards of the major in Celaya, that's really awful. What can we do? What should people do? What do you say? What do you suggest as a short-term solution, Mickey, for this terrible news?
Sorry, teacher, I was connecting my charger.
Oh, don't
Uh,
worry.
about a short-term solution, I don't know. Probably I'm gonna be a little bit drastic, but I think that one of the issues that we have is human rights here in Mexico because I think that is not applied correctly. I don't remember what it was, but someone defense of an assault and killed the assaultant, and now he receives charge of assassination. How do you say that?
He was convicted.
Yeah, just because he defends himself to that situation because it's supposed that it was an assault, not a threat of kill the. Yeah, well, I don't remember exactly the name of. Uh, how do you say asesinato? I don't remember.
Assassination.
Yeah, yeah,
Or like killing
killing. Yeah,
or
so
murder.
in a way, I think that laws are not applied correctly. How is possible that you defend of the situation and now you are convicted for that reason?
Yeah. Well, there are plenty of stories about Bukele imprisoning people, and there's an interview in which they tell him, "Look, you are." Remember that they said something like, "You are defending 1% of the population. You are imprisoning 1% of the population. Imprisoning 1% of the population, which is a lot of people. Imagine one person out of 100 in jail is a lot, right?" But
Yeah.
he responded very wisely. He said, I am really liberating 99% of the population who lived in virtual jail. What do you think of this comment?
Yeah, well, at least for me makes sense. Because if that 1% is affecting all the rest of the population, well, I think that it's something necessary. I don't know. I think that here in Mexico is probably, obviously, in occasions, I think that it's difficult to compare El Salvador with Mexico for the amount of people that we have. Probably it will be easier if it will be a smallest country. But there are
Right.
some things that we can apply here, and at the end, I think that there are so many issues: the lack of education, the corruption too. It doesn't matter if it's here in the state, in the municipality, or in the country. There are corruption. So in a way, it is difficult to change something if the system doesn't allow you to change that.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, it is difficult, and I hope to find that well that government and society in together find a solution. But at this moment, it seems difficult.
Yeah, but let me go back to what you said a while ago. You mentioned something that is very positive to see winning stories, right? Championing good stories. Let's say that the mayor of Irapuato, let's say, he wants to create conscious to families how to be strong families, how to educate their kids, how to make them grow and develop, nurture themselves. Well, I would go if I was the major of Irapuato, I would probably go to your parents, to your dad and your mom, tell them, hey, give us a talk. How do you educate your kids, right? And or I would say my brother for the same sake, right? My brother has
Mhm.
two wonderful kids, and he's just a great parent, just same as your parents, possibly other people that I know too, and they would ask them, how did you do this? How did you create? For example, my brother, same as your dad, your mom, my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, they truly love their kids. They try to give them as much as they can in terms of education, instruction, ethics, activities, a variety of things. Yeah? So you show a positive model, a winning model. In other words, I would go with the governor of Jalisco and tell them, look, Mr. Governor, you have a small town in Tepa that is a winning story. Just replicate it. It's a small town. Well, replicate it. Don't have 10 towns or 10 cities. Have two. You have one now. Replicate it. Okay, now you have two. Okay, now go for three, and then go for four, and then the whole thing, right? Something like that I would do. I would tell the governor of Guanajuato, Mrs. Livia, please go to Tepatitlan, take a look at that city, chat with the mayor, chat with the citizens, and try to replicate the system. Well, the first thing that I notice is that when you enter the town, they follow you. I mean, who is this foreigner? They don't let people inside just like, oh, I don't care who that is. Same thing happens in Aguascalientes, Mickey. I don't know if you go to Aguascalientes, if you have ever been to Aguascalientes recently.
Not sure, none recently. Probably I would like to go to the San Marcos Fair. There
Okay.
are some artists I would like to see, but no, I haven't. I haven't go to Aguascalientes.
Well, if you ever go, you will see that there is a control of traffic control point of security in the highway just before crossing the toll booth for collecting money from the drivers. Right
Mm-hmm.
after that, when you enter the town, day and
Mm-hmm.
night there is a control of drivers. So they check your car, they see you, okay, go ahead. Every day, every moment, every day and night. And yeah, there are still some crime in Aguascalientes, but it's more or less under control. So what I mean by that is you check who enters your house. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, that is true. I think that um, there are certain strategies that we can apply to to our city, and as you mentioned, if there's one winning story, okay, try to replicate it to in this case to our city, and then when you could do that, try to replicate it in other city, and yeah, I think that will be easier to change little by little to try to change everything just for one moment to other. So so yeah, it is. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's like
how they're
yeah.
yeah,
Say that
sorry.
again, please. The last part.
I don't know how they're working or how they are trying to solve the situation. I have seen comments on Facebook that are criticizing the new governor of Libya, and it's like, oh my God, it's not a problem that just arises when she take the charge, when she take the position. It is a problem that we have since probably at least what 5 years ago,
No, it's a problem that has been on for 18 years, Mickey, I think.
18 years.
Yeah, because it's what the amount of time that the fiscal judge has been helping or assisting the government. I think you
Well,
need to check with other people, as your dad, as your friends, but I think it's been, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think 10, 15 years at least, in my opinion.
well, yeah, it's true because I remember that when it started to sound about criminality was with Sixto Cetina, and it was I don't know how many years ago. Mm, yeah, probably at least 10. Now that you mentioned, yeah. But I remember that it was like just assaulting or robbing. But now I think that's the worst. Well, this type of situation of assassinations and all stuff. I think that probably 5 to 7 years, right? Now more seriously here in Irapuato.
Could be. Yes.
Yeah, because I remember of robbing or people
Well,
assaulting since a long time ago, at least 10 to 15 years as you mentioned.
yeah, but now assassinating someone is murdering someone is really something serious. I mean, you're depriving a person not of his freedom. You're depriving him or her of his life. That's something really terrible. How can people do that, right? You're taking the most valuable asset anyone can have, which is life. How can they dare take that away from them? It's really awful. I cannot understand with what right. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
in the game, if you're in the
Mhm.
game, you're selling narcotics or you're selling forbidden uh, stuff. Well, you know that there is a risk, but they don't care for the innocent people. I mean, if they do, they go to a restaurant, they do massive shootings. That's awful. That's really getting out of control. And the problem is that it seems to me or to people that the police is colluded. It looks like they are colluded. The governors, I mean, the politicians are colluded. I don't mean to say the governors. The politicians are colluded. So how can it be? Yeah, it can be a great business, but there are other legal businesses. I mean, all of us like money. Who doesn't like money? But there are more ethical businesses. I mean, try something different, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I don't know. I think that uh, I turn back a little bit that the biggest issue that we have is the lack of education. I think that if there will be real education, people wouldn't be tempted to try to go to those businesses. But well, if what they listen is narco corridos, if what they see in news is that someone murdered another guy in the streets, in a way, if they don't have shares in the school or if they don't have teachers, how is possible that people could change in other way? And I'm not trying to justify. I know that it's there are other criteria to pay attention. But yeah, I think that the lack of education is one of the biggest problems that we have, and in consequence, is that why we have a lot of criminality here in Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So, well, in order to stop that, I would say, like, for example, let's look in the how do body tissues repair themselves, because that's one of the properties that the body has, right? How to recover itself. You would say, well, but that's biology. I would say that that resembles society a lot. How does the human body recover itself, right? Or heal itself? How does the human body, like tissues, recover itself? How does it happen? Do you have an idea, biologically speaking, Mickey? For example, you have a wound or a scar or a problem. You hit yourself, you get a bruise, right? You go to the gym and you accidentally hit one of the weights. Oh, it hits here, right? So you get a bruise that becomes purple. But after a couple of days, 3 days, maybe 1 week, your tissue, your bone, your muscle recovers itself. The question is, how did it happen? Can we replicate that in society? Let's take a look. How does a bone, a tissue, a muscle, the skin, how does it heal?
Mm, let me search it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there must be a way for the tissue to recover itself, right?
Yeah.
Because you know, we know that it happens. The thing is, how does it happen?
Well, here says that muscles and tissues heal themselves through a complex biological process that involves inflammation, repair, and remodeling. And and yeah, here is like the structure of how it goes step by step. The
Can you?
first one is
Okay,
inflammatory phase, and it starts from the 0 to 3 days. And when muscle or tissue is injured, the body responds with inflammation. Blood vessels constrict briefly to reduce bleeding, then expand to allow immune cells to enter. White blood cells, like macrophages, remove dead cells and release growth factors that trigger repair. The second phase is repair phase and starts from the day 3 to 14 days. The body starts producing collagen, a structural protein, to form a scar tissue. Fibroblasts, cells that make connective tissue, migrate to the area to rebuild damaged fibers. And new blue vessels, angiogenesis, form to bring nutritions and oxygen. And the third one, remodeling phase, starts from the week 2 and lasts depending of the injury. The scar tissue is replaced with a stronger, more organized muscle or connective tissue. Collagen fibers align properly, and some muscle regeneration occurs. If the injury is severe, full recovery might require physical therapy or additional medical interventions.
okay,
And well, here says factors that help healing. Of course, nutrition, protein, vitamin C, and zinc promote tissue repair, rest, and recovery. Too much strain can delay healing. Blood supply, better circulation speeds up healing. And in occasions, physical therapy, controlled movements strengthens recovering tissue.
okay. the point of the question is if it is possible to make an analogy of body healing to that of social healing. Is it? Is it not possible? What do you think? Is it possible to make an analogy of between social body healing and social healing? And if that is possible, how would it be? Or actually, the opposite, right? Social healing
Mm-hmm.
uh, with body healing. Is it possible? What would be the common points? What would be different? In other words, can the society behave as a biological organ or organism? It's just a question that I just thought about.
Yeah. Um, well, in the first phase is like, well, in the body healing is uh, inflammatory phase. I think that if we move this to the society, the first step is recognize the problem. Probably that will be the first one,
Okay,
because
recognize the problem.
in the case of the body, when the body recognize an injury, the immune system responds. In this case, with the inflammation, to try to eliminate the cells that are damaged and try to affect, well, yeah, try to avoid infections. And if we move this to society, will be like uh, when there's a conflict, depend, violence, discrimination, there are different conflicts. Normally, there are like a reaction of people, and there are so many how, protests. How do you say protests?
Demonstrations.
Demonstrations. Uh, so I think that it is the first step to recognize the problem, because someone is doing demonstrations that there is something happening.
Right. It makes total sense. Makes total sense. That'd be the first step. What about the
Hmm.
second? I like the idea. Let's see the second step.
Well, in the second step is repair phase. In the repair phase is when the scar tissues is replaced with stronger, more organized muscle or connective tissue. If we move this to society, I think that when it's a conflict, it's supposed that must be like generate different initiatives to try to repair the damage, and they can create like new structures or
They can
agreements
create what?
to
They
new.
can create.
You're writing it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
like
right.
um, they can create like new structures or agreements to avoid that the issue repeats.
Give me a second, please. A second, please.
Yeah.
Muchísimas gracias, Brenda. Gracias. Alisa, I'm sorry. Thank you,
No, don't
Mickey.
worry, sir. Don't worry. Yeah.
They can create new structures or agreements that what?
Yeah.
You were saying.
Uh, to avoid that the issue repeats.
Okay. Okay, that is yeah. That is a great recommendation. Okay, so we're making progress, I think, because we have two items which are equivalent, more or less, between the biological response of the body and the societal response. Right now, what is the equivalent? I mean, to the immune system. The immune system in the body helps you recover yourself, right? Heal, helps you heal. What would that be in society? Who would have, or what structure or institutions would have the moral burden of repairing society? In other words, you say, I am recovering because I have a very strong immune system. That's what you do, right? That's why you go to the gym, you eat well, you do your exercise, you sleep well. In a society, what would be the equivalent of the immune system, Mickey? I'm asking that self, and I don't know this answer myself. So I'm also thinking.
Mm, well, probably, obviously, the police, the National Guard, uh, the laws itself.
The laws themselves,
Yeah, themselves. Yeah.
the National Guard, the police, you said,
Hmm.
these are the laws themselves, the National Guard, the police,
The governors too.
the governors.
Mm.
So, would you say that we need to reinforce the institutions that maintain the law and order? Would you go with that idea?
Yeah, of course.
Reinforce
Absolutely.
them. Like you take your vitamins, right? You take your supplements. You eat well. So, in the case of these organizations, how do you reinforce them? How do you make sure the police, the governors, the laws themselves are strong and trustworthy or reliable, in other words?
Well, you can see this with the results that they have. If you see that it's a city that is safe, that people feel relaxed and in calm, I think that the results talk by themselves. But when it's the opposite, I think that is when you can, or when they need to reinforce the institutions and yeah, in occasions do some changes too.
All right, what do you think about social experiments, Mickey?
Social experiments. Well, I
Yeah,
think that yeah, in occasions are necessary.
do you think they give you, if carried out properly, they would give you a reliable behavior or diagnosis of the society or problems in general, or in particular, I'm sorry?
Hmm. Well, yeah, depending on how do you apply uh, those social experiments, but yeah, you can have an idea of what is happening.
Yeah. How would you design a social experiment in which you're able to determine the three most stringent causes of worry for the society in Irapuato? For example, you would say there are three things that worry the citizens the most, and these are this, and this. How would you design a social experiment in which you or any researcher can carry out this experiment? And it's obviously more or less confidential.
Hmm. Well, so, a tool that is very popular now is Google Forms because it isn't necessary that you put your email. You can do it uh, like in incognito. How do you say
Right,
incognito?
incognito
You know, yeah,
or unknown person, you can say
uh-huh. So in a way,
unknown
people
mode.
feel more free to really put what they really think. So yeah, probably a way to do it is with Google Forms. You can create a forms with probably 3 to 5 questions, and then with the results, we can see how's the in this case the worries of people here in the city.
Right, you would want to do that anonymously, right? For
Yeah.
example, and but what about the validity of the instrument? Because if you're going to apply a survey or a
Mhm.
questionnaire
Mm-hmm.
in say with a is there a Likert scale in which you ask how do you feel in uh, in the numbers of 1 to 5, how safe do you feel in the apartment? For example, I would ask you, how safe do you, or how, let's say, how honest do you think the local police is? And then you would say, one is very honest, and five is very dishonest, or vice versa, right? It depends on. And then you give people the option of voting 1 through 5. For example, if you think it's moderately honest, you would give them a 3.
Mm-hmm.
If you think they're totally dishonest, you would give them a 5, or vice versa. You can design it the opposite. You can say, how honest do you think the police is? One is very honest, one is very dishonest, and 5 is very honest. That depends on how you design this survey. But then you need to have validation. You need to validate that instrument. In other words, you need to either validate it through the methodology, or you would have to choose one that has been already validated by someone else, some researcher in
Yeah.
certain institutions, right? And now that you have this, uh, which people would you do? How would you choose the people that you would interview, Mickey, to do this social experiment and maybe publish it?
Mm. Well, I think that it is necessary to have people from different colonies, people from different uh, perceptions too, because in a way you can have like a yeah, like a biggest criteria. It's not only a group of people that probably thinks similar. You are looking different groups and analyzing the different perceptions of a same problem in this case. Teacher, can you just wait me 1 minute? Someone is knocking
Absolutely.
the door.
Yeah, take your time, Mickey. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. I'm back, teacher. Sorry.
No problem, no problem. So, we're talking about the parallels between the healing of a human body and the healing of society. That sounds incredibly resembling to one another. In other words, it looks like, yeah, it is possible to make a resemblance or a similitude between healing a society and healing a human body. I found this phrase in the AI, and it
Mhm.
says that if you want to read it, please, Mickey, is basically what you just said. Can you?
There are parallels between the healing process of a human body and the ways a society can heal from division, trauma, or dysfunction.
Yeah, dysfunction in this context means violence. What else? Inequality, political conflict, social injustice. So it is possible. What other steps would you suggest that we give to heal society? Now we feel that we're kind of social doctors, right? We want to, because and the only reason is that we live in this society. And well, I can say that I'm happy because my daughter is out of the country and my other daughter is out of the state. But now some violence starts to erupt in Querétaro too. So now my second daughter, Sophie, is not 100% safe anymore. And of course, I have lots of friends and family in Guanajuato too. So it is natural that I want to help the society become a better place to live for the better of my friends and family, right? It's only natural.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so, what other step would you suggest that we take or that we propose? We said recognize
Mm,
the problem, repair phase. What other things should we do?
well, it is important to involve society because it is not only an issue that is to the government. I think that it's a society in general. I think that society must uh, must feel part of the solution too. Because yeah, a lot of people you can see them on Facebook, on Twitter, criticize and criticize, but they don't really do action. You know, they just saying what we know,
Right.
but nobody takes action.
How do you foster cohesion? How do you foster cohesion in a group, in a society? How do you make people become a tight group? Not so. I don't think that it's bad to be individualistic. I don't think that is a bad thing. But in this moment of division and lack of respect, I would say that we need more cohesion as a group to work more in a cooperative way. And I tell you something, when I went to Nayarit on vacation,
Hmm.
I saw a group of Canadians that were in the beach, and they had met an American the year before, and they were working together. They became friends, and now that friendship remained for over a year. They went fishing all together. They were
Hmm.
able to fish some bass fish. They ate
Hmm.
it together, and they were friends for 3, 4, 5 days, and
Hmm.
that friendship remained for 1 year. They got together, they went fishing in a boat together, and then they went back to Canada. And he said to me that they were farmers. They One of them had cows and milked the cows, and then sold the milk to a cooperative, and they worked like a group. So they live very happy over there in Edmonton, in Alberta.
Alberta.
So, how do you foster cohesion, Mickey? How can we foster cohesion in a group?
I would say yeah, like the same case, creating groups that focus
Sí.
on of certain activities that in a way all together could make a change in society. As I mentioned at the beginning, I think that it's important to create sports groups when you can involve people not only from clubs, not only from certain colonies. I think people in general, because in a way they feel part of that. Uh, we have seen cases that people that don't feel part of society, well, don't really care society, don't really care about others because probably they never felt part of that. So in a way, I would say uh, that creating those groups could solve, or at least I think that to some people will be um, a solution to avoid this type of criminal groups, to avoid drugs, to avoid all stuff.
I would say that's a great suggestion. Really, really great suggestion. And obviously, if I am already a member of a chess club, a music group, I have my family gatherings, I have the school, a university, I feel okay with society because I have many, many groups. But how do you approach? I mean, for you, it would be easy to approach me and tell me, hey, teacher, let's join, let's make a group about this or that, right? But what about inviting people who are um, excluded from
Exactly.
most places, who
Yeah.
are probably violent, who are probably defensive, who will, I mean, it's easy to invite a person like you, like me, like our parents, our friends, our family, because
Yeah.
we are already there, right? But how do you invite people who are on the other side of the social, um, let's call group, right? And I don't say this in the derogative way, but in an unfortunately, they are there, right? How do you invite those people who have problems? I mean, it's like a doctor approaching a person who has how do you say, contagious disease, right? How
Exactly.
do you do that?
Exactly. I think that well, in this case, I think that the government probably starting from the municipality, they can create like little tournaments of different colonies, and in a way, yeah, probably they are playing, I don't know, a soccer game, but at the end they can talk, they can meet one each other, and yeah, and and in a way see they can see that probably they're not so different as they think, because I imagine that apply for both parts, not only one. I think that people from other with other problems think that these people is different, and vice versa.
And maybe not, right? Maybe they're not so different to us as we think.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thought, Mickey. I really sympathize with how you're explaining it. Yeah, we probably believe, oh, they're very different because they have different skin, they have different instruction, they have different education, they have different values. But maybe they're not extremely difficult, right? Because at the end, they are also humans, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, great conclusion, Mickey. Well, let's finish. Let's finish here. Once again, thank you for your comments, for your provision of ideas, comments, and everything,
Yeah,
Mickey.
teacher. Thank you very much for your time and for everything in general.
I, I hope these conversations don't become depressing because at times we talk about different problems.
No, but it's okay, because in a way I think that mm it is important. Probably we're just chatting, but it is important to expand our way of thinking, not only to see the problem. In a way, I think that people feel like in occasions, how can I say this? Like indifferent, because we are in a way get used to see this type of news, but we don't really care about a solution. We just can criticize the government and criticize the police, but at the end we don't do something. So in a way, I think that talking about these topics, um, well, unfortunately, it's a reality that we are living. So I think that we just don't need to let the issue there. I think that we can do something, and yeah, it's good to talk about it.
Okay, very good, Mickey. All right, good talking to you, Mickey. Thank you again for your comments. Say hello to the family and see you probably next week, I think, right?
Yes, sure. Yeah, perfect. Take care, enjoy your weekend, and we see you in touch.
Take care. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, teacher.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
Mickey. Bye bye.
Bye.